Welcome back to Operation Pixel. I'm looking at what has now been labeled Staircase L. I double-checked the floor here because in the last episode, anyone who came from there may recall that I said the map looked funny. It's because, believe it or not, this is a big surprise, I'm sure, to everyone, but I made a small mistake on my map and I miscounted one space, and it threw off the entire floor. Or at least this section of it, which fortunately is quite a small section, so it didn't take long to redraw it, with that space included. But that solved my problem with it, and it's going to be useful because if one thing was misplaced before, it would throw off where I placed this on the floor above it, which would in turn throw off every other staircase from here on until eventually it would have been a huge mess because it would have been a multi-floor problem. So I'm really glad I did that. The other thing I was talking about in the last episode, those who came from it, was my experience with the MMO Final Fantasy XIV. So I mentioned that there was a free trial up to level 35, but I ended up having enough fun, and I had a bunch of friends playing, and I was having fun hanging out with them. So I was like, cool, we'll play the game together, and I'll just keep at this for a while. And it seemed alright, but, like, the more I played of it, like, the worse it got. Like, the mechanics of that game, I can't even remember all my complaints. I had, like, a list. But it is, like, absurdly grindy. And, like, the game is designed in such a way that, like, you're meant to basically just, run dungeons every day, every week. Just dungeons. More dungeons. And if you think you're done with dungeons, you're not done with dungeons. There's more dungeons. That's what you do, is you run more dungeons. And the story mode in the game, like, it was cool that they had one, but, like, I just was not into it. The guild I was into was nice, and the friends were cool. I think they might even still be playing it. If so, you know, I hope they're having a good time. But really, like, it got to the point where, like, I just really felt like I was just wasting my time playing that game. I was like, there's a lot of things I could be doing with my time that would be more fun than playing Final Fantasy XIV. I also didn't like that, like, 1, 2, 3, 4, hopefully I counted that right. You know, they had, like, a class system, but it wasn't exactly like, you know, a classic, Final Fantasy class system. Because, like, you had, like, starting classes and, like, advanced classes and stuff like that. And the advanced classes, I think, were sort of like Final Fantasy classes, but I don't know. There was no multi-classing. Which, you know, isn't really, like, a big loss, particularly, but it does lower customization considerably. Have a burger, Noah. But, like, they also split everybody into roles. So, like, if you were, say, a gladiator, which is what I started as, and then I became a warrior because one of my other friends was playing a gladiator, and I was like, yeah, just to mix things up. Or no, I wasn't a warrior. I was a marauder, was the base class that I was playing. And so, you know, eventually, like, both of us were tanks. And if you go into the dungeons and stuff, they basically all but say, like, you should have 1 tank, 2 DPS, and a healer. And it's like, that's not fun. City of Heroes, like, going back to that, because that's my go-to of, like, this is what an MMO should be like. I remember in City of Heroes, like, we went, I had, like, 3 friends on that we played regularly with, so the 4 of us, did some of the endgame content, and the endgame content was designed for, you know, 8 players. So, we were doing this stuff with, like, half the recommended team size, and we were not a cookie-cutter team. Because there was builds that were like, I forget what they called them, it's like a flavor of the month kind of thing. But some of these were just considered like the build to play, you know what I mean? 1, 2, 3, 4, just double checking to make sure I counted that out right. There wasn't really anything else back there, so it's not really going to matter, but just for the sake of getting things done. Okay, so this is another staircase going up. After L, JK, GHI, JK, L, M. We're up to staircase M now. This is gonna take us back up to the first floor. Oh man, I didn't even realize there was room left on the first floor for another staircase. So this is gonna be right about there. This is behind the entrance. How did I get behind the entrance? So weird. Oops. I put the label there, but it's the staircase that's there, not the label. Okay, and I'll put the label next to it. Alright, but in City of Heroes, you know, it was like, what they said was there was builds like, stone tanks. Because stone was, like, the best in the game for reducing damage. So it gave players the best possible chance of surviving things. Empathy was the best healing thing. If you were playing, like, a controller class. Kinetics was huge. But we beat the game. I was playing a Spine's Super Reflex Scrapper. And anyone who knows the game knows that those are, like, that is an extremely suboptimal combo. Like, that is not something anyone would recommend to anyone ever. Because Spine's, like, was fun. Like, basically my character had spikes coming out of him, and then I could eject those spikes. I could stab people with those spikes, and I could eject them at people. And, you know, it was... The thing is that Spines had pretty low DPS compared to a lot of the other setups. So it was very uncommonly used. But I had a lot of fun with it because it gave me some ranged attacks, versatility, some AoE. I had like the best AoE of any scrapper. At least from my primary. There were like, if you use the second set, like I said, I had super reflexes, which especially like later in the game cycle, really became near worthless. Oh, a lightsaber. That's actually some decent treasure. I'm running out of MP though, so I'm gonna have to leave here soon. So we'll have to hope that there's not too much more on this path. Oh, but of course, we get to staircase N now. Oh my god. Let me just draw that in there. Staircase N. That's gonna take us up to floor 2. Oh man, staircase... Okay, so floor 2. N is left 3, so 1, 2, 3, up 1. Is that correct? So from here, 1, 2, 3, up 1. Okay. That should put me right there at point N. Super Reflexes was based around dodging attacks, so I basically just had to reduce enemies' hit chance to as low as possible. And Super Reflex had an easy job of that, especially once the buffs got added. But they made it eventually so that basically everyone could have maxed out defense and minimize enemies' chance to hit. And so, being a class that's only benefit was being able to reach that point easier than everybody else, you really weren't getting much out of it. So, all I'm really trying to say is that my character was suboptimal. And in some of the endgame content, our tank was a fire armor, I believe. Energy melee fire armor, I believe. Which energy melee was pretty good. It wasn't like the best of the best, as far as damage went, because energy was a really resisted damage type. And this isn't gonna matter to like anyone, unless anyone else is out there is like listening, like, yeah, min-maxing, I get it. Or you've played the game before. But, suffice to say that energy melee wasn't like, you know, the cookie cutter, like, the best possible thing either. I don't think it was, anyways. 1, 2, 3. So, our tank wasn't optimized either. And then we had a controller who did not have kinetics or empathy. They were using fire and storms, which were also considered, like, Storms wasn't that popular. It was a pretty good power set, but it wasn't that popular. Except outside of, like, PvP, which is not what we did at all. Let's see. Check it. 20 Mazetta, totally worth it. So, and then our defender also was not a healer, because they also had storms. So we had, oh, and radiation. Radiation was fine, but like, defenders were considered the healer class, and ours was based around debuffing, and, you know, doing some damage. And so, like, anyone who looked at our team would have been like, what are you guys doing? But yeah, we beat, like, the hardest task force, which was like a dungeon kind of thing, in the game, with just the 4 of us. And, like, not a single one of us was an optimized build. So, you know, we also did the same thing on the City of Villains side. We did all the most difficult content there, too, with just the 4 of us. But I think on that side, our team was maybe a little bit better. Like, still not cookie cutter, but, like... let's see. I'm just trying to remember where I am exactly. I'm on floor 2. There we are. So the point is that, like, when I played Final Fantasy XIV, and the game was basically forcing people into their roles, and saying that you're required to play the game like this. Like, and they actually made it so that the game was balanced in that sense. And I can imagine some people, like, you know, maybe that kind of thing is fun for some people. To sort of be like, you know, I want to be the best tank. Or I want to be the greatest healer, or the top DPS, and, like, you know, you maximize in your own role. And there was obviously some variations, because, like, I don't think there's any, like, strictly superior classes in, Final Fantasy XIV. I know, like, White Mage was sort of, like, the best for healing, because of course it is. But, you know, it's not like you couldn't have competent healers from other classes that were still able to do it. Hold on, after N, that was N, right? So, yep, this is Staircase O now. Oh my god. Okay, well, Staircase O. Where does that put us? That puts us up on floor 3. Where does it put us on floor 3? So here's the thing, is I'm sort of wondering about my map again, because it seems like maybe it could be a little off here. I want to go back down and check. I don't want to make that mistake. If I botch the map, it's going to be a problem. So I basically got to check how many spaces there are. Get away from me. I said get away from me. Oh man. I just wish running works more often. Like, the counters in this game, there's already too many of them. Oh wow, closed. Locked again. Alright. So I'm here in 1 space, 2, 3, 4. Alright, that's what I have. But it's like, once... The reason this is weird to me is that if it went 1 more space to the north, I would hit the corner of the map, and this corner would be, like, perfectly in tune with it. But the fact that it's not makes this kind of strange. Let's see. The rest of this still checks out. Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Yep. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to assume my map is correct. But in that case, let's see. We're 1, 2, 3, 4 down in this column. 1, 2. Hold on. Is that including? Yeah, it is. So 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. That should be O. Just gonna put me up here. Oh, interesting. Immediate turn. Okay, well, so far this is at least meeting up with the map. If I turn left, though, it should be a corner. Or a dead end. That works, too. Okay, so this still sort of checks out. Forget what I was saying. I know I was geeking out about... Oh man, I don't want to fight a Reaper. I should get out of here. Yeah, I'm just gonna run. Screw you. Oh, I really don't have a lot left in the tank here. No, why don't you keep Meow up? I'm gonna get Alice. Get Noah up. Alright, we're gonna have to hope that we have enough to sort of just at least finish this track. Alright, so I should be at the T-junction right now. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, and there's a T-junction right there. What's this up ahead? Locked door. Dungeon key, use. Alright. And then we go 1, 2. And a dead end. Do I even have enough to trap check it? Oh, there was a trap on it. So glad. Well, it was empty, but at least we didn't get blown up, right? Nah, I don't want freaking one red slime's treasure chest. Alright. So, yeah, I just didn't really like 14 enforcing the rules and then like having this absurd grind. I mean, eventually at some point, like all those MMOs get pretty grindy. Like even in City of Heroes, I remember like the maximum level was 50, and once you got to like level 41-ish, it was real slow going. There was probably faster ways to level up. You know, some ways that were faster than others. Like, I bet you if you did run dungeons all the time in City of Heroes, that would have been great XP. But, like, the fact that you weren't, like, required to, like, constantly do those, and I don't think they made, like, it's pretty common these days. They have, like, a daily limit or something like that, where if you go over the limit, you get sort of penalized, or, like, you can't get rewards anymore. It's kind of poopy. I don't think COH had that. But, you know, then again, well, I don't know, maybe they did. Maybe I just never did dungeons that much. Either that or, like, you know, it was the sort of thing where, like, if you ran the missions, like the story arcs in City of Heroes, maybe it was the kind of thing where it's like, after I ran one, it was like, okay, that was a good 3 hours of solid gameplay. Maybe I'll take a break for now. Let's see, so 1, 2, 3, 4, well, not 4, just 3. Get away from me. Alright, 1, 2, 3. It's a long haul. 1, 2. And then a corner. Well, this has got to be a dead end then. Wait, what? Did I make a mistake? Because this goes off the corner of my map in a way that I don't like. Okay, well, there's 2 places I could have made a mistake. I'm gonna go check, because it's very important that my map is consistent. I really didn't want to walk down this hall again, but here we go. Alright, so should be 3 long, and then the thing 1, 2, 3, and then the corner. So that's correct. So this little squiggle here, immediate corner here. Walk through this hallway, and then if I turn to the left, it should be let's see, 4 spaces. 1, 2, 3, 4. Checks out, so why does this go off the map? Unless something else is wrong somewhere else. Something wrong somewhere else. So I would have to move this entire thing down like 2 spaces for this to check out. Given that upper area there. Wait, no, only 1 space down. And if I moved everything 1 space down, the map would look pretty much just fine. I'd just be curious, did I misplace the O staircase? Let's see, from here, 1, 2... So 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it. 1, 2, 3... Oh, yep, that's what it was. I misplaced the O marker. Okay, well, how are we doing on time? Where's my card? I can't check my time without my card. I track the episode clock with a note card. Let's see. Yeah, looks like we're good. So I'll fix my map. Let me run to the end of this hallway first. Just, well, back at least to where I stopped exploring it. Crap, where am I? There's so much map here, like... I don't know how I'm ever gonna find my way through this place after I leave here again. Alright, so I think... Yeah, there's the door. I don't want to deal with you. Cool, you let me go. That's unusual. And then back up this way, and then I think I can just follow this, because, yeah, there's no turns here. I mean, there's turns, but, like, no branches. So around here, I got to the end of this really long hallway. Dang it. Man, so many Reapers in this hallway. Okay, so I got here, turned here, and then I was like, uh-oh, that's a problem. So here's where we're gonna save for this episode. And we'll come back next time. I think I've pretty much talked all I wanted to about MMOs, so if anybody's tired of hearing about those, you know, don't worry about it. That's it. That's my 10 cents or more on MMOs and the design of the ones I played. And we'll come back next time on Operation Pixel, and I'll have to think of something else to talk and ramble about.